Yo, what's up? This is part 2 of Season 2 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So, now, this other half started off with Lightsaber Lost. This episode was an excellent episode. I loved this episode a whole lot. And it was really interesting because Ahsoka loses her lightsaber. I just thought that was really awesome, you know? And then she has to go on this whole adventure and with this old Jedi, you know, trying to find the people who took her lightsaber. I really like this episode because it shows that the Jedi's lightsaber is not their main weapon, you know. They're their main weapon. The Jedi are their own main weapon because, you know, they use the Force to figure things out. And this old Jedi, you know, he's kind of like the Yoda of the episode, you know. Alright, so, this was a good episode. She eventually gets her lightsaber and she teaches these kids about this, you know, about her lightsaber incident. She tells them about it. Now, these 3 episodes are the Mandalore plot. This was an excellent episode. I loved this episode. It's fantastic. I loved all these episodes. The Mandalore plot was Obi-Wan goes to this Mandalore planet, and he finds this Duchess Satine who rules Mandalore, and he used to, you know, love her. But he couldn't because, you know, he doesn't break the Jedi rule like Anakin does. And then, she and him go to this restaurant, go to this dinner with the head guy or something. I don't know what he is. His name is Pre Vizsla, voiced by Jon Favreau. That was excellent. You did a good job, Jon Favreau. Good job. Props to you. And then, this episode had the Death Watch in it. And Death Watch were awesome. And the final battle, I loved this final battle. Obi-Wan fights off against Pre Vizsla. Turns out he's another bad guy. And he's got this dark saber. It's like a samurai sword. This episode was fantastic. And Obi-Wan and Pre Vizsla had this lightsaber duel. It was awesome. That's all I gotta say. I loved it. Now, Voyage of Temptation. Now, this is when it takes place after that, and Duchess Satine has to go on this ship to get to Coruscant to, you know, put that into the Senate like Padme Amidala did in Episode 1. And that was interesting. You know, I liked this because Anakin was there, Obi-Wan and Captain Rex and Commander Cody were there. And Anakin is giving Obi-Wan a hard time because, you know, he used to like this girl. Like Duchess, you know, he's watching her. You know, he's the protector of her. And she's a fighter. She's a good fighter. I'll give her that. She's got a nice blaster. Then Anakin and Captain Rex and Commander Cody find these big droids. These are good. I thought when that droid had that clone trooper just walking, I thought that I had chills on my neck. That was amazing. Oh, man. I loved that. And, you know, this droid has these little babies, you know, it spits out, you know, and these droids go everywhere. So then Obi-Wan, there's another traitor in this episode, and Obi-Wan gets one of these little droids, puts it there, and he puts it in this little Tupperware thing, and he goes around, and it won't attack the person who programmed it. And he gets to this one guy, Varrick, I think it is, Senator Varrick. Turns out he's the bad guy. He holds her hostage. He's working under the Death Watch. Then at the end, Satine says she loves Obi-Wan, and then Anakin stabs him in the back. So then he saves the day. And that was a really good episode. And the droids are coming in as this is all going on. It's a good episode. A lot of people should watch this. Now, Duchess of Mandalore was okay. This one mainly focused on her getting framed for something that she didn't do. I just really didn't care for this episode. It just kind of lowered the bar a little bit more. And I didn't really care. But then Obi-Wan does come back, and he is like there to protect her and help her when she's in trouble. And then the Death Watch are there on Coruscant. They blow up this ship, and she has to get off it. You know, it's all at the beginning, and it's very interesting. And the Republic does not help her, so because she's a pacifist. So then she goes back to Mandalore, and that's all they see of her now. Now, Senate murders. This was an excellent episode. Even though it did have Padme in it, and all of you know, I do not like Padme, and it was really interesting. I liked this because it had a traitor in it. It was like a mystery sort of thing. It was kind of cool to see Padme and Bail Organa kind of team up and like work together to find out who this person is, and they take the law into their own hands. And when I watch this, I think of Prisoners. Then the new movie, that came out. It's not new. That movie, with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal and them. I thought that, kind of reminded me of that, because they take the law in their own hands and they find out who it is, except it's different. But they find out who it is because this person kills Padme's Uncle Anno, and it turns out to be Uncle Anno's handmaiden, I'd say it was. So then they get her, and send her off to jail. So now Cat and Mouse that got the bar up. Again, this takes place before the hidden enemy, and I liked this episode a lot. It was really interesting, and it's pretty much Anakin and Obi-Wan create this new cloaking device ship. We'll get this new cloaking device ship, and they have to get supplies to Kristaceous, so then Bail Organa can get out of there and help these people. And it was really good. I liked this episode a lot. It was a lot of fun. And Admiral Trench was a good villain. That's all I gotta say. Admiral Trench was an excellent villain in this. So, and that's all I gotta say. Now, Bounty Hunters, the season is called Rise of the Bounty Hunters. So, Bounty Hunters episode. Perfect, And it's pretty much Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka team up with these other bounty hunters because their ship crashes, because they're trying to look for this medical frigate. Turns out they can't find it. And then they end up on this planet I think it's Felucia. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the pirates are back. Hondo Ohnaka is back from the first season, and I thought it was interesting, very, very interesting to see him back. And then Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka train these farmers, because these farmers don't know how to fight, and they need to learn to protect from themselves, so then they don't get hurt. So then they don't have to depend on these bounty hunters, the Jedi. Because they don't stand a chance against Hondo Ohnaka's army. And what the Hondo Ohnaka is trying to get is this plant. And this plant will heal you, And bounty hunters were really interesting. Embo was the standout bounty hunter. I liked him a lot. And this episode had a good message. I liked this. It was really... I loved this episode. It was good. It was really interesting. So this season really did not have a lot of bad episodes. I'll give it that. But the Zillo Beast was okay. Both these episodes were kind of just average for me. It just kind of reminded me of the King Kong sort of thing. Pretty much, it does end like King Kong, except the Zillo Beast doesn't have a girl, But the Zillo Beast is found after Anakin and Mace Windu get on this planet, on the Doug homeworld. Doug Sebulba. That's what Sebulba is. He's Doug. And, they have to sign this peace treaty, and they test out this new weapon, kills all the droids, but makes this big, big crater. And Anakin and Mace Windu have to go and get the clones out of there. Turns out there's a monster in there that's been extinct for over 1,000 years. Well, a long time. And these Dugs are planning to kill it, but then Anakin and Mace Windu decide not to because Chancellor wants to get it because its skin is like indestructible against a lightsaber. So then they save the Zillo Beast and they bring it back to Coruscant. So then they can make clone armor out of that. So then the clones are protected. And then now the Zillo Beast strikes back. It was okay. I just really like I said, it was like the King Kong sort of thing. The Zillo Beast is really mad at the Chancellor because the Chancellor is just like, it's a stupid animal. It's not really anything important. So then the Zillo Beast loses its crap, takes off, and just wrecks Coruscant. And then it gets the Chancellor, and he's just looking at him in the eye. You can just see it. It's just like, He's got his little ship, that he's in. And then Anakin, Aayla Secura, and Yoda, and I believe Mace Windu are there. No, Mace Windu isn't there. And Padme is there as well. And they, they just save the day. It It was interesting. Kinda. And then he dies at the end. And then the Chancellor's like, Doctor, I want you to make the same thing. I want you to replicate it. I want you to replicate it. And the Doctor's like, what? And it just ends like that. Now, these next 3 episodes, Death Trap, R2 Come Home, and Lethal Trackdown. Death Trap is all about Boba Fett. These last 3 are all about Boba Fett. Trying to kill Mace Windu. I get it. But in my opinion, they didn't handle Boba Fett in the best way. I wish he wouldn't have had that feeling of restraint. She just should have shot them people, because then it shows that he's not the person, he's not a little kid anymore. He has the, and it shows that he is like that, so then you can set that up for the next couple, so then you can set that up for episode 5. But Death Trap is pretty much Boba Fett takes down this whole Republic cruiser just to kill Mace Windu, but Mace Windu gets out of there. Ship crashes on Vancor, which is back in season 1 again. And and then in the next episode, Anakin, Mace Windu, R2-D2, and Mace Windu's droid go off to try and see if there's any remaining crew. Anakin and Mace Windu get stuck in the ship because Boba Fett has planted his father's helmet in the ship. Anakin lifts the helmet up. There's a bomb in the helmet, blows up the hull, and the hull, like Hull. Anakin and Mace Windu get stuck under there, under all the debris, and R2 has to go back to Coruscant to get the message out there. Eventually he does, and Boba Fett is trying to get back on the ship with Aurra Sing and some other guy, Castus, and they're trying to get, trying to see if Mace Windu is still alive. So then they get out of there. So then R2 gets out of there after a chase with those guys, and then they all rescue them. And Anakin and Mace Windu can't do anything in Lethal Trackdown because they are injured, and so so Plo Koon and Ahsoka have to go and find Aurra Sing and Boba Fett. Now this episode was a good season finale. And Ahsoka and and Plo Koon, go in the underbelly of Coruscant, and that was really interesting. And then they find Boba Fett on Florum, and Aurra Sing had a thing with Hondo and Naka. And they eventually capture Boba and Bossk, and then Aurra Sing dies in the Slave One. And that's it. That's how the season finale ends. And Boba Fett is still mad at Mace Windu, and then he goes to jail, and that's the end of the episode. So, that is season 2. I'll see you all later. Ba-down, bow, ba-down.